My car is on f***ing fire, man. Oh, shit. Oh, no, no, no. Right now.
Nah, man. Oi, oi.
Yeah, don't even think
What? Yeah, this.
I'm literally by you.
Oh,
How old are you, mate?
holy shit!
Yeah,
wait, bro.
holy shit! Come over, man, come over. Fuel injectors, do you reckon?
Top left-hand corner.
Top left-hand corner, wiring.
You're lucky.
Oh,
We'd have had to have travelled further.
Yeah.
That would cool.
Really?
Just be careful because there's still petrol. There's still petrol
Right.
coming out of that.
Step away.
Okay. Yeah. Not looking great. It's just been serviced as well. I'll put the black badges on it.
Town.
On that one? So this has to be by far the worst video I've ever had to make. Now, unfortunately, as you just saw from those quite devastating video clips prior to this, unfortunately my Audi R8 was involved in a fire. Thankfully, all that matters is myself and my passenger Luke are safe. The car, not really that bothered about, to be fair, because it can be repaired or replaced, who knows, but the important thing is myself and my friend Luke are safe. I wanted to bring this video just to talk to you guys about kind of what happened, without going into too much detail, because this is still an ongoing investigation with insurance and potential lawyers, things like that. So I just want to say what happened, and then I will of course update you guys as the process goes on with some videos. But anyway, so it was Sunday the 16th of May 2021. I had just finished work. My friend Ben had turned up to my work in his C63, and we agreed to go on a bit of a road trip, about an hour and a half down to Podium Place. Really nice cafe. Definitely want to go back there in the future. So we drove down. The car had some issues in the past, so I was purely kind of test driving the car to see how it is. Drove down, the car was fine. As I got to Podium Place, the car asked for a litre of oil, so I topped it up, and I noticed the car was smelling a bit rich. At first I thought maybe it was oil, potentially. The car then took a while to to start. It kind of turned over, and then eventually it started, and I was getting a bit of a whiff of fuel. Now, due to the car's previous issues, I assumed that this was either a misfire, the car was running a bit too lean, so I assumed it was a misfire, or maybe that the engine was ever so slightly flooded from turning over so much. So yeah, whatever, didn't, you know, really think there would be that much of an issue. Drove it back, and thankfully I had just come off the M40, because if this had happened whilst I was in the fast lane or on a motorway, very busy motorway, I dare to think what would have happened. But thankfully I exited the M40 and I was on the B4100 in Gaydon, just outside the Motor Museum. My friend Zach was in his MX-5 and he had just turned kind of to go to turn off, and I remember looking in my mirror to see him turning off, and I thought, oh, where's he going? Oh, we must be just doing a U-turn to go home. But that is where things went south very quickly. I noticed he seemed to come back and join me as if he was chasing me. And then this vision will stay with me forever, and it's all I can repeat in my head, is looking in my rear view mirror and just seeing flames coming from the engine. Now, that was incredibly terrifying to have to see. And even now, when I get in my cars, I have to put the mirror to the ceiling because I just can't look in, because I'm just getting mad PTSD about it. Spotting the flames and then stopping the car for me seemed to take forever. It was like time had just completely stopped, but I stopped the car as soon as possible, got out the car, and that whole time slowing down thing, it was like once I'd stopped the car, we were both just sat still. I'm sure we weren't, because we tried to get out of the car as quickly as possible. But yeah, it was absolutely terrifying. Managed to pull over. Thankfully, the fire brigade were able to get to the car within literally about 5 minutes. The fireman said, "You're lucky. If we had had to come from the station, the car would have been gone." But it's just such a shame that we had such a nice day and then it ended in this kind of catastrophe, but it could have been a lot worse. Now, I want to address some of the things I've seen in the comments from Aaron Life of Polo's video, because everyone on the internet seems to be really non-sympathetic and everyone's an expert. Quite a few people saying, why did I leave the engine running? Why did I open the engine bay? Why didn't I try and put the fire out? And why did I stand there filming it? So first thing, I initially left the car running for around a minute or so because I was just so focused on getting out of the car that the emotions going through my head were just too much to deal with. I wasn't really thinking. So I got out of the car and it was still running at the time of the first clip. But as soon as I realised my error, I ran up to the car, turned it off, and that's where you would have seen me throw the key on the ground in pure frustration that my entire savings, my hard work was up in flames right in front of me. There was nothing I could have done. Secondly, people saying you've opened the engine cover and let air into the engine. Well, the engine is completely surrounded by air, you know, from the sides and even underneath the car. So me opening it, to me, wouldn't have made any difference. And I'd done it because I felt if I had left it closed, the fire would have just spread further out rather than going up. And also, if it had melted the release cable for the engine cover, then you would have been no way of getting in. So the fire brigade would have had no way to get into the engine bay to put the fire out. So that was what was going through my head. And the reason we didn't try and put the fire out was, one, we had nothing to do, so I had no fire extinguisher. Fire extinguishers here in the UK aren't really a common thing to have in your car. So we had no way of putting it out, which is where I had a bit of a meltdown. And what was the other thing? Why were we filming it? Well, when your car is sat in front of you burning before your eyes, there's nothing else you can do. There's nothing you can do. You're just helpless. So I filmed it purely to take, like, for the evidence for the insurance company, and of course to try and generate some kind of income in case the worst happens and I'm not covered or whatever. So it's just one of those things that's all you can really do whilst you watch your pride and joy burn before you. But yeah, that's about it, to be fair. It's just started raining, typical. But yeah, I was completely helpless. It was the most traumatic thing. The day after, I went to work and I jumped in my MX-5 and I was really trying to hold it together to stay strong, but it got the best of me. Like I say, I can't even look in the rearview mirror. Cars at the minute no longer excite me, so I'm hoping that comes back and this is just a phase. The whole PTSD and the trauma it's caused is just so overwhelming. I'm confident that although I might be sad and weak at the moment, that things happen for a reason and that I will come back stronger. So hopefully I can say that, and you know, although it's hard now, hopefully I'll recover quite quick, because this isn't nice to go through, to be honest. So I don't want to be in this state for forever, but I'm confident I'll come back and I'll be stronger. Update on the car, I have no idea. At the time of this video, it has just been recovered. It's going to a specialist to be assessed to see whether or not it is fixable or if it's going to be a write-off, I don't know. But as things progress, I will of course keep you guys updated here on the channel. And that's about it. That's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to bring you guys a video to show you what had happened. I'm not going to start pointing fingers at this point because until I get the report from the insurance, it's not wise to do so. I just want to say a huge thank you as well to the fire service, who did an exceptional job. Their response time was amazing, to be honest. If there'd been any later, the car would have been gone. And also the police, who, you know, handled it well, they comforted me. And as well, every one of you guys that DM'd me on Instagram, like I was overwhelmed with the amount of support and the messages I got from you guys. I couldn't reply to you all. There was that many, and that to me is just so overwhelming, and it really means the world that you guys care as much as you do. But yeah, massive thank you to every single one of you. That's where I'm going to end the video, guys. Thank you very much for watching, despite the hard circumstances. Stay tuned for plenty more videos to come, I suppose. I'm going to document the whole process. So yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you as always for the support. It really does mean the world.